The education subsidy argument. Now we calculate the bill. Let us start with what India spends educating each person. At an IIT, the full cost of educating one student is estimated at between 10 lakh rupees and 25 lakh rupees, largely funded by the taxpayer. The student pays a fraction. When that graduate emigrates permanently, that investment leaves with them. In the IIT system alone since 1953, approximately 25,000 graduates have settled in the United States. That is a conservative figure. The overall estimated cost, important show as estimated, economists have attempted to calculate the total economic cost. The most cited figure from academic and institutional research puts the cumulative loss since 1991 at approximately $160 billion. This includes lost income tax revenue, pension contributions, and the public investment in education. On an annual basis, estimates range from $11 billion to $50 billion per year. I want to be transparent, these numbers involve assumptions. They are informed estimates, not a single definitive official figure. What is not an estimate is that India is the number one remittance sending diaspora in the world. The remittance flip the other side, and here is where the story gets complicated because the same people who left send money back. In 2024, the World Bank confirmed India received $129.1 billion in remittances, the highest ever received by any country in a single year in recorded history. That is 14.3% of all global remittances going to India. In FY25, this covered 47% of India's entire trade deficit. The diaspora is financially propping up the currency. The healthcare cost, visceral and specific, but remittances cannot fix a healthcare system. India has 5 hospital beds per 10,000 people, one of the lowest in the world per the 2020 UN Human Development Report. It needs 2.4 million more doctors, and those doctors, educated in India, trained in India, and now working in the NHS or the American hospital system. When a patient in rural Bihar cannot find a specialist, that specialist may be treating patients in Birmingham. This is not theoretical. It is the daily reality of 900 million people in India who cannot access a doctor when they need one. The innovation loss. And then, there is what we cannot measure easily. The innovation that did not happen in India. Every patent filed in Silicon Valley by an Indian engineer is a patent that could have been filed in Bengaluru. India ranks 41st on the Global Innovation Index 2023. We are a top 40 country innovating at 0.7% of GDP R&D spend. The correlation is not a coincidence. Benchmark countries. What worked? So can this be reversed? 3 countries have done it or come close. Let us look at each one. China, 1000 Talents Plan. China launched the 1000 Talents Plan in 2008 specifically to reverse its brain drain. The model identified top Chinese scientists at American and European universities, offered them a competitive salary. In one documented case, $65,000 a year with a house and a full research budget, plus leadership positions at top Chinese universities. The program brought back thousands of scientists. A 2023 Stanford study found that nearly 20,000 scientists of Chinese descent had left the US for other countries, including China, between 2010 and 2021. China has specifically and successfully turned its diaspora into a resource. South Korea, the state-led model. South Korea's story is older but arguably more instructive. Under President Park Chung-hee from the late 1960s, the government built specialized R&D institutions, offered returning scientists research autonomy, guaranteed competitive material benefits, and reformed legal frameworks that made scientific careers viable. It was not spontaneous, it was an organized government program with direct political support at the highest level. By the 1980s, Korean scientists were choosing to return. Korea went from brain drain to brain gain within 2 decades. What India has tried, India has not been idle. The PMRF, Prime Minister's Research Fellowship, launched in 2018, offers up to 72,800 rupees per month to PhD scholars, double the standard fellowship rate. Since 2012, the PM Fellowship for Doctoral Research has supported over 350 fellows across 130 institutions. In 2023, the Vaibhavi Fellowship was launched, 4 lakh rupees per month for overseas Indian scientists to collaborate with Indian institutions for up to 2 months a year. In the first cycle, 302 applications were received and 24 fellows selected. SAIB runs the Ramanujan Fellowship specifically for scientists under 40 returning from abroad. Honest assessment of the gap. But here is the honest assessment. The scale does not match the problem yet. The Vaibhav Fellowship selected 24 people in its first cycle. China's 1000 Talents Plan was designed to bring back thousands. The PMRF gives 72,800 rupees per month in India. A researcher of the same caliber could earn 5 to 8 lakh rupees per month in the United States. Until the domestic opportunity is genuinely competitive in salary, in infrastructure, in research freedom, the programs will remain partial solutions. Q1. The sovereignty question. Question 1. Does a country have the right to expect loyalty from the people it educated? India spent taxpayer money building EITs. Those who left use that education to build wealth in another country. Is that a betrayal, or is it simply a human being making a rational choice for a better life? I do not have a clean answer, neither does the data. Q2. The remittances trade-off. Question 2. Is $129 billion in annual remittances a fair return? The diaspora sends back more money than India earns from IT exports. It covers nearly half the trade deficit. Some economists argue this is a net positive, that the country monetizes its human capital even when that capital lives abroad. Others argue that money cannot replace the doctors, the researchers, the innovators who are not here. Who is right? Q3. The structural question. Question 3. Can India build a domestic environment in salary, in research infrastructure, in quality of life, in institutional culture that makes its best people want to stay, not out of obligation, out of genuine preference? China is trying. South Korea did it. Is there a version of this that works for India? And if so, what would it require? And who would it require it from? I am not going to give you a verdict today because the honest answer is this question is not settled. What I will say is this: India is the world's largest democracy, the world's 5th largest economy, the country that sends more talent to the world than any other, and the world's largest recipient of money sent back by that talent. That is not simple. It is not a tragedy and it is not a triumph. It is a complicated, evolving story, and you are living inside it. The question of what India does next is yours to answer.